Purity of God, exquisite light that is the truth of all creation. Accepting in this moment that this light has never dimmed within you. This light of perfection has merely been forgotten. Now, not only in this moment, but in this journey of love, open your heart, and as you open your heart, the glimpses of truth begin to leak from the hidden sacred place where it is still intact within. The light, the perfection, the harmony, the peace. All is the truth of God, and all is the truth of you. As the creation of God, only the perfection and beauty is reality. All beliefs that have been conjured up, the beliefs of separation, that have expressed themselves as limitation, that have expressed themselves as battle, suspicions, and caution. All of this is just waiting to be completely surrendered. As you surrender into the hands of God, all the concepts that have come from this and all past lifetimes, all the ways that you have believed that you witnessed and gathered evidence of separation, now is the time of letting go. Now is the time of rejoicing that nothing that you knew of the past, nothing that you thought you knew of the past, was true of you. The purity and light, the eternal existence, is all that is real. The rest has been a bad dream that has been conceptualized by a mind of fear. And what the mind of fear believes it sees is just the reflection of its beliefs. The truth of God, the truth of light, the truth of love is here. But it can't be seen with the eyes that were made to see only conflict and the belief of separation. The ears can't hear until they're surrendered to be used only for love, because the ears were made, as all the senses, to reflect and to believe in what the mind holds as fear. In the rejoicing of the truth, the rejoicing is that everything that you have heard, everything that you have seen, everything that you have conceptualized has been a mistaken identity. that holds no truth. Fear itself is a defense against the truth. Fear rises to be right. Fear rises to defend. And fear rises with the distorted belief that you will keep control through fear. But fear plays a fool's game. There is nothing to control. There's nothing to know. The ease of love and life is in the letting go. In the conscious surrender. The conscious surrender that gladly puts into the hands of God, puts on the altar of God all reactions, all assessments, all therefores, conclusions, all cause and effect, all surrendered. To gladly empty yourself of the past and all of the games that were played in the past, and resting and allowing that love will always show the way when it is invited. To step back and let love lead. Let love light the way. And as love lights the way, love is remembered. And the truth of your divine self emerges from behind the veil into the light, meeting the light, love meeting love, light meeting light, reuniting, no longer willing to be overshadowed by a mind that is just confused and delusional. Opening. How does this opening occur? In surrender. Allowing, inviting the power of God to transform. The divine prayer, do what I cannot do. Show me the way. In this moment of love and light and healing, only love is real, as is every moment. In this moment, invite all of humanity into your heart. All beloveds who have walked this earth, here to remember. All the beloveds who have walked this earth in all various forms, all living creation, all divinely equal, all divinely the truth of God. Surrendering all beliefs of all differences and accepting. Love is all that there is. In this moment, rest here. Rest in this moment. Rest in God. Allow the divine alchemy of love's healing to have its way. To unravel the mind of separation. And to heal the heart. To soothe the heart. To open the heart. To call the heart out of its hiding place of defense into the holy union of love. And as you breathe deeply and fully, and asking the question, did I remember to breathe today? Consciously, purposefully, in the holy union of love, breathing with God. Willing to let the mind go and just breathing. Surrendering the mind, all past thoughts and all thoughts of the future. Surrendered. The willingness for the mind to be emptied of the past and letting the future unfold as the light of God dances in its unfolding, happily accepting. Love will light the way. Happily breathing. Breathing into all the energy bodies. Gladly surrendering the energy bodies into the hands of God for transformation. Heal the concepts of limitation that have been held in all the energy bodies. Heal the energies of battle that have been held. Let it all be healed and cleared. No longer wanted as an identity. No longer wanted as a defense system. Surrendered. And surrendering the physical body into the hands of God. No longer willing to believe the identity of the body as who you are, but willing only for the body to be used as the sweet communion of God's love. Willing to bless and embrace and walk in this temporary life within this temporary form, offering peace and harmony, letting peace radiate through the energy bodies coming from the heart, surrendering and allowing, and breathing into the heart, the willingness within, the choice within, to open the heart undefended not held any longer in caution and suspicion, but free, free to offer love, free to meet love within every beloved. And breathing and allowing and resting in the truth and the light of God. As you continue to breathe consciously, being present, the willingness again to give up every thought that wants to take your attention and just be here, resting in love. Surrendering all beliefs of tension, constriction, limitation, all surrendered as false beliefs of a false identity. Breathing and affirming that here in the infinite circle of love we are one. There is only one presence here. It is love itself. This sanctuary is filled with love. Nothing else exists. This universe is all love. Only love exists. Cherishing the name of God in this moment as the source of all life. Only love is real. Breathing and affirming that there is only one presence here, the life force of God. Within this life force of God, all spirit lives. The divine spirit of love, that is the truth of your divine being, your true existence, and which nothing can dispirit. Letting that spirit be claimed and recognized as the center of life. One presence, the life force of God in divine union, all love. Allow this prayer to permeate through the layers of resistance that have been built up in the name of caution and defense, the willingness to open into the truth of love and be in the holy healing of love. All I am, all I am, all I am is given to me. My mother gives to me, my father gives to me. All I am set free. I can forgive, I am forgiven. My mother gives to me, my Father gives to me. I'm here to receive, here to be forgiven. I will receive, I am forgiven. All I am, all I am, all I am is given to me. I'm here to receive all I am, here to be given all I am. All I am is the grace of God. All I am is the light of God. All I am is the peace of God. All I am is light. The forgiveness is of everything that has been made in error, all that has been identified as an identity, all that has been identified as a way of life, all that has been identified as a descriptive element of who you thought you were, surrendering it all. Surrendering age, surrendering male or female, surrendering family structures, roles, all identity, all lifetimes surrendered. Surrendered into the light, letting it disappear because it was never real. It was never true. All I am. Rest in God. All I am is the strength of God. All I am is the eternal life of God. Accepting and forgiving the past. I saw a great radiance. I saw a fountain of knowledge. I drank of her water, and she gave me the strength to carry on. In this river of God, I have put myself to navigate. I stepped into her boat, and I encountered the Holy Grail of truth. I heard her voice, and her song said to me, "Whoever drinks from this chalice has a path to uncover." I heard her voice, I heard her song, "Whoever drinks of this chalice has a secret to uncover, the secret of eternal life." Praise in the heights to the one who is the bringer of this power, all divine beings who have served humanity to come back into remembering. They are the holy, blessed words of love and light. Eu vi grande e clara, viu fonte do saber. Eu bebi da sua água, me deu a força para vencer. Nesse rio de Deus, eu me pus a navegar. Eu tomei a sua barco agral, sagrado foi encontrar. Ouvi a sua voz, é seu canto eu me dizer. Quem bebe nesse cálice tem caminho percorrer. Ouvi a sua voz, eu vi o seu cantar. Quem bebe desse cálice tem segredo a desvendar. Hosana nas alturas, e quem deu esse poder. São santas palavras, benditos e natureza esse poder. The great radiance is waiting to be seen in the quiet stillness of the every moment. The every moment of quiet stillness that you choose. When you choose to enter into the quiet, to let go of the mind, and to drop into the heart, into the quiet, that's where the radiance reveals itself. That's where the fountain of knowledge begins to bubble through. It doesn't come from the mind that has made up a concept of a self, but from the heart, dropping in and recognizing the holy choice that you have in every moment. This is the gift, the temporary gift of God, the holy choice, to choose in every moment between peace and the past. Every moment. Peace or what you think you know. To turn toward peace, to turn toward resting in God and trusting the unfolding, that is the peace. That is the peace that starts to emerge when the mind is no longer running its calculations and its suspicions and its cautions and its defense systems of all kinds. Never-ending supply of defenses, laying them all down, recognizing that they are the swords that have been held to protect and defend against the seeming monsters that seem to be on the outside, but are actually hiding in the mind, pouncing with every assessment, with every opinion, with every judgment. Laying down the swords of anything to be protected or defended, laying down the swords of weakness and opening to the strength of love, the power of love. Opening, willing to get into the boat and let God navigate. To get into the boat and let love and life open in the name and the truth of God. That shield that you hold. There is a shield you may still hold because of so many battles. I guess another conflict could begin any moment. So maybe lugging it around and about could be of some use. Or is it just an undermining habit? Does it not get heavy? So much so that sometimes you have to carry it on your head at noon? And then do wonder with your insecurities so intact about casting darkness as fears can shadows? Even if the sun is out, if the sun is out, if God is really all around in the middle of a beautiful day or night, yes, how amazing that a small umbrella or an illusion held over your head or clung to can hide the stupendous fact of ever-present infinite light. every little thought that you have that says, I know. Every little thought that plans, every little thought that has expectations and ideas about how things should be, could be, you want them to be, you plan them to be. Every one of those thoughts is like an illusion held over your head, blocking the light. It's tempting to be in the past. It's tempting to count on what you believe you've always known. It's tempting. That's why everybody falls for it. Because it is the grand addiction. It's the grand addiction of knowing. What is knowing? The identity likes to believe that knowing is righteous, valid, necessary, and accurate. But the journey of love, the journey of remembering, is a journey of surrendering the past, of surrendering the past beliefs that you've held about your incarnation. To incarnate into a body is the epitome of the ego's identity. The body itself represents the entire belief of separation. It proves it in every moment, or it tries to prove it in every moment. It proves it because the moment that you are incarnated into a body, that incarnation, that identity is already programmed in the belief of death. It's already programmed in time, believing that time is real and that you are the identity of the body that is growing, changing, adapting, making concepts of a self as it goes along. And that identity is held with a great defense system. But it isn't recognized at all that it isn't you. The divine spirit that you are is asleep, and you are asleep to it until you begin to question the validity of your identity as a temporary body. Who am I if I'm not this? What am I if I'm not this? Are you a divine spirit having a incarnated dream? Or are you a body just walking your way to certain death? To be the eternal light of God, which you truly are, but to accept that truth is to really surrender what you think you know. This is why every master is always bringing every beloved to the same to the same place, the same teaching. The same teaching as Jesus. It doesn't matter how it looks, it's all the same teaching. I'm not a body. The divine masters, Jesus, Buddha, Krishna, are they less or unreal because they don't live in a body? Are they incapable of communication because they don't live in a body? It's not even a question. Were they more powerful in a body than they are not in a body? If you conceptualize that, then to you they will be less effective, because you will have placed the limit upon all masters. You will have placed the limitation. It will be your choice. But to accept that all masters, all beloved beings of love that are in service of humanity's remembering, have no limitation. The limitation is the belief of the body. The limitation is the belief of that identity, and to be at the mercy, to be at the effect of a body identity. I've said before that there is a way of looking at the body. So how much of the body do you need it for it to be real? If you remove your feet, are you still a body? If you remove your hands, are you still a body? If you remove your legs, are you still a body? Arms? Or is it just the head? Like a science fiction movie, all you need is your head. As long as your brain is there, you can believe you're a body. The rest will work itself out. That distortion, that upside downness, is how unreal the body identity is. And all that you've made out of the body identity, all the roles that you've given it, and held on to it as if without that identity you're nothing, when it's actually those identities that hold you in the belief of nothing. Because your true identity is the light of God that has no limitation, that has no possibility of death. Free. Free. Where is the freedom? It isn't in the body. I am not a body, I am free. I am still as God created me, is a deep, holy teaching. And one that is called to embrace and accept as deeply as you possibly can, to unveil the lies that the ego has made in its opposition. I am a body. I made my own kingdom. I'm not free, and I'm not part of God. I'm a separate self. Let me give you my information. Name, rank, and serial number. To be free is to truly surrender, moment to moment, what you think you know. There's no more dangerous words that the ego hears than "I don't know." When you rest in not knowing, the ego is terrified, because its entire identity is knowing. Knowing separation, knowing problems, knowing difficulties, knowing battle, knowing struggle, knowing scarcity, knowing differences, knowing right and wrong, knowing good and bad, knowing likes and dislikes, all to separate. When you have likes and dislikes, every like that you have adds another brick to your prison walls. Every like says, this is my kingdom of my likes and my dislikes. And that's how you build your fortress of separation. Imagine the light of God walking on the earth going, oh, I don't like that. I don't like that. That's annoying. I don't like that. I like that. That would be so laughable. But you are that light of God. So where do these likes and dislikes have any meaning other than meaning that you've given them? You've developed your likes and dislikes. You've used your senses to develop likes and dislikes. And you've made your own identity out of those likes and dislikes. And that's where all the battles come from, too. The likes battle with the dislikes, and the likes and dislikes battle with other likes and dislikes, and build separate little places so that you can have your own likes and dislikes. And yet, of course, the ego isn't showing that to you to say, look, this is actually where your pain is coming from. This is where your suffering is coming from, because it keeps reinforcing that you're separate. It keeps reinforcing that you have to protect your world, the world you made for yourself, out of your identity, your past. Rights and wrongs. A whole other series of bricks are made out of rights and wrongs. I know what's right and I know what's wrong. I developed a system. I developed a whole identity out of right and wrong. And I stick to it. And when I don't stick to it, I curse myself and I attack myself, because I have gone against the rules I made. They aren't the laws of God. They're the rules that you have made in the belief that they would keep you safe, that you would know how to function and maneuver in the world in a place of safety of your own making, except that it keeps betraying you, and it doesn't keep you safe because there isn't any safety in the ego identity. Defenselessness and safety is in God, because that's where love exists. There's no love in your rules of right and wrong. They have been made to keep you in your self-made kingdom, your self-made prison of separation. And again, those beliefs of right and wrong are your relationship to guilt. When you go against your own rules, or what you have projected onto others as society's rules, it engenders guilt. It engenders shame. It engenders worry, concern. Where does worry and concern come from? Except in all that you've made. There is a saying in the world that says, I have recognized the enemy. And the enemy is within. There really isn't an enemy within except the belief of right and wrong and likes and dislikes. It's not an enemy, but it's not your friend. It's an identity that has no truth. And you defend those rules that you've made, believing that they're righteous, when they have no reality. How is it that you begin to really see that they don't have any reality? By surrendering them into the hands of God. When you're willing to just accept, I don't know how to walk in this world. Every rule that I have made out of the past was for protection and defense, and being right, which is also protection and defense, and to believe that it kept me safe. But it doesn't, because it actually engenders anxiety, it engenders wrongdoing, it engenders the fears of retaliation, it engenders suspicions. It doesn't bring peace. Peace comes from freedom. The realization that you can't change the truth of love. No one can. No one and no one's rules and no one's likes or dislikes have any connection to the truth of love. They're just about safety. They're just about believing that it gives you control, except that there's nothing to control. So then it's just a complete spin around all the time, getting nowhere. When you've depended on your senses, which were made, they're of the body, they were made by the incarnation of separation, you believe your senses. Your senses are filled with information all based on the past. That's all that your senses are relating to you. Everything that you see through your eyes is your beliefs of the past reflected out. Every meaning that you give to everything is coming from a concept that you have made of the past and that you keep seeing everywhere. That's how you keep seeing the same story again and again and again, and wondering why the story doesn't get different, because you keep saying, I want something different. But you keep seeing the same thing, because everything that you think you know is repeating the past. There is no place else to come from except the past. And here in this present moment is where love is. Here there is no past. Here, now, this moment, there's no past. And there's no future. It's just love. This is why nobody except beloveds who are awake live here. Because they're living in the past, in what they think they know, and projecting it into the future to make the future just like the past. Everything that you think you know is making the colors. It's like a coloring book that you're recoloring all all the future. And again, this is the calling. To put the future into the hands of God is to let it go. And not color it with the past of what you know. Setting it free. Giving it to God. And saying, I have no idea how anything should look. I don't have any idea how to look at it, how to, or what it's about. It's free. Free of my mind. Free to be the grace and beauty and light of God. Open. And that's where I can join. As I place the future into the hands of God, I am then here. I'm here because I'm not trying to manipulate the future by living in the past of what I think I know. Every moment has this opportunity. What does it look like? You wake up in the morning. You put the future into the hands of God. You give the day to God. I don't know what this day should look like. I don't know how or what it will offer, but everything that today will offer will be for my remembering. If I choose to accept that this is an offering of love. Or I can give it my own meaning, grab it back, kidnap it. It's not in the hands of God anymore. I took it back. I took it back, and I'm going to give it all the meaning that I want it to have. Because I want to be in control. And I believe that if I give it meaning that I think I know, I'm in control. Except it isn't control. It's fear. It's fear racing to try to control and trying to be safe. Except that there's no danger. The danger is coming from the mind that thinks it knows something. That's all. And there's nothing to know. Love just moves. The meaning that you're giving to everything is an interpretation of the past. How can you know that's pink? Where does that knowledge come from? It comes from the past. That's a pillow that is pink. More information. It's laying on a rug that's laying on a floor that's made out of wood, that's on a foundation, over dirt. All that I know. Except as I know all that and give it all an identification, I have just set everything into a limitation of the past. And the divineness of it, the light, the life force of God that it truly is, it's not available to me because I gave it all the meaning that it has. I've identified it all. Then I add whether I like it or not. Well, I don't like pink. Or I do like pink. Pink is my favorite color. I don't like that rug. The wood floor isn't the color that I would choose. But the earth underneath it, yeah, that's okay. Except the combination of the soil is probably not that great. All the meaning that I have given everything in that takes precedent over the willingness to commune with the divineness of everything that is love and God, that is already present. That's why, that's the purpose of giving all the meaning that you've given to everything into the hands of God to be transformed, because it's the shield that's been made to protect and separate from love. Love is constantly, the power of love is constantly in open communion. It can't be anything else. It is open communion. It has no other truth. It's open communion. It's moving, it's dancing, it's communing, always. Everything about love is in movement and in stillness at the same time, and has no limitation. But when you are knowing everything and you're giving everything the meaning that you want to give it, you're not available for that communion. You're not available by choice. But it may be that you didn't realize that was a choice. That's a choice that you're making. Yes, it's a trance. It's just what you think is, because it's what you know. But it is actually a choice. It's choosing between the past and what you think you know and what you have made up, and the truth of love. Always that choice is there for you. Always. Every moment. That is the greatest gift that humanity received in the moment of incarnation, in the belief of separation, is that choice was brought as a gift from God. It's a temporary gift. In the truth of oneness, there's no more choice, because there's only one. And there is no other element at all. So choice disappears, as forgiveness disappears, because there's no purpose of forgiveness when there is only the recognition of love. There's nothing to forgive. Everything's always in harmony and peace and love. Forgiveness is a gift that was given, a temporary gift that was given, to have each beloved recognize the power that you have within you of choosing to forgive the mistaken identity that you made and you believed in. And only you can make that choice. It can't be taken from you until you are ready to let it go. It will not be yanked from you. It will not be pulled from you. It will not be ripped from you against your will. To join your will with the will of love is for your will to come home. When you hold that you have a separate will and you make decisions on your own, that pillow is pink, that's my decision. In that decision, you're choosing separation. Not because the pillow is evil or bad or an ugly color, because it's made up. It doesn't exist. It's just a made-up concept. When you judge beloveds, we'll put it down to something that's easy. When you judge beloveds on whether you like their clothing or you don't like their clothing, something so simple, and you may think, oh, if I like their clothing, I'm kind of elevated because I'm nice. When I don't like their clothing, even the mind can say, well, that's actually I'm doing them a favor because they've got terrible taste. And they'll be much better off when they take my advice. and follow what I think I know. All the differences that have been made in the name of being right, it's all part of the illusion of what you think you know, down to the simplest idea or the most complex idea. It's all the same. It has no real purpose. When you ask, what do you truly want? What you will always end up coming to is peace. I want peace. I want to be free. I want to rest. I want to remember. And to remember what you want is to keep choosing what you truly want. That every moment you have the choice between peace and a disturbance of some kind. Peace and knowing. Every single time you are disturbed by something, now first you have to recognize that you're actually disturbed. For a great deal of living incarnated, it's actually not even recognizing that it's a disturbance, because being right overshadows it. The high of being right, even if it's a disturbance. Being upset with somebody, believing that someone has done something and that it is the cause of your upset. Or let's say it's not even a person. Let's say it's the sink is clogged. And you have an instant reaction, oh no. Damn. Why? That was not in my plan. That was not in my expectation of this day. That relationship between what you believe the meaning is of that disturbance, that it disturbs you, is either the opportunity to choose again, to realize that you've made up a meaning, you've given that meaning. You've given it the meaning that the clogged drain is not to your liking. It disturbs you. That's a made-up meaning. That's completely fabricated. It's the opportunity, and only the opportunity, of learning that you don't have to be at the effect of anything. That you're giving it all the meaning that it has, and the meaning that you give it is your pain and suffering. The pain and suffering is in a direct lineup with your concepts of what you think you know. Your past. Does everyone in the Rogue Valley believe that a clogged drain is upsetting? 99.9%. Keep pulling that out there, it'll keep getting bigger and bigger. The entire state of Oregon believes that a clogged drain is upsetting. The entire Northwest believes it's upsetting. You can have all the evidence you want of being right, but you're the one who is living in the upset of believing that you are having a disturbance that really has no meaning except the meaning that you're giving it. You have given it all the meaning that it has. It can be there if it's surrendered to the Holy Spirit in the moment. I surrender this. I'm not willing to be upset by this because I've made something up. I don't know what the healing is that's here, but when I surrender it into the hands of the Holy Spirit then can use that moment, that relationship that you have with the clogged drain, or what seems to be a clogged drain, it's given to the Holy Spirit to be used as a teaching to remember love. That you do not have to be at the effect of the clogged drain. If you step back and remove and surrender the meaning that you have given to it, you will see that it actually means nothing. That you don't know what this gift of this clogged drain will bring. Will it bring someone into your sanctuary that you're supposed to bless, that you're supposed to bring comfort to, that you have the opportunity of serving someone by giving someone a job of unplugging the drain? You don't know. Or is it just the opportunity of deep healing that it absolutely means nothing and you can be free? Where are the blessings in every moment? As soon as you put a meaning on something, you are in the belief of limitation and separation, and you are in suffering. If you give something the meaning of, oh, I won the lottery, this is the best thing that could ever happen since sliced bread, you're giving it meaning. And it will be used by the ego mind to produce what you think it's for, instead of, let this be a teaching of love. Show me the way with this. I don't know. There's no good or bad. I'm whole and complete. Winning the lottery doesn't change anything. It doesn't give anything other than the opportunity of service, the opportunity of serving love. How is it being used to serve love? Does it change who you are? Not in the slightest. Now you can say that, oh, never changed me, money never changed me. But your opinions are changing you all the time, just because you have opinions and concepts and ideas of who you think you are, when none of them are real. You're the light of God. You're the wholeness and creation of the eternal. You're the blessing of all creation. You walk with God in perfect holiness. You walk with God in perfect holiness, whether you're aware of it or not. But to live in the realization that you're walking with God in perfect holiness and that God is living right here, because that's who you are, the holy light of God, is to embrace the joy that you are, to embrace the eternal life that you are, to embrace the truth that you are, the blessing that you are, the gift that you are. And letting go of all of the meaning that you have given to everything, which is where your suffering comes from. When you have someone from the past that you have believed hurt you, changed you, as long as you hold that concept of them and not as the light of God, you are in a prison of suffering. You are in a self-made prison. And you're holding them in the same prison, and it's not true. To be free of the perception that you are cursed and that you are damned by what you think you've done in this lifetime or other lifetimes, is to hold guilt as real. And there is no such thing. Guilt is manufactured. It has no truth. To hold someone else in guilt is to hold yourself in guilt because you believe guilt is real. You're giving it all the meaning that it has because you believe that someone changed you, that someone damaged you and changed you. And yet, the truth of God is that nothing can change love. Nothing can change the truth of your divine self. Nothing. And to accept that is to open the door of freedom, to invite that transformation. I'm ready to be free of the past. I'm ready to let go of what I think I know and to be free. Is to accept no longer that find my spot. It is. There is a shield you may still hold because of so many battles. What's the shields that you're holding? If you don't recognize the shields, this won't mean anything because you won't recognize them for what they are. It isn't just like standing there with a knife in your hand or a refusal to connect. I mean, that's there too, but it's the subtleness of the shield in every way that you see it, that you've made a separate identity and you're attached to it, and the willingness that you don't want to give it meaning anymore. And you don't want to put meaning on anything that you think you see because all it is coming from your own mind. It isn't out there. It's to release everything from any meaning and to let go of all of the meaning that you've given to everything. I guess another conflict could begin any moment. In the mind, yes. Conflict can begin any moment. All you have to do is turn your head just a little tiny bit and you can find a conflict. And conflict is there because you believe in conflict, because you believe that there is something to be conflicted with, because you've given everything all the meaning that it has. And your freedom is in letting all concepts of meaning go. There is a very powerful teaching that says, I am upset because I see something that is not there. Well, if that doesn't burst the illusion, nothing will. Every time you are not at peace, you are believing in something that is not there. It's made up. How can this be? But how can it be that God is only peace and love and joy? How can it be that everything is the divine light of God without limitation? The mind can't understand this. The mind that made up separation can't understand it. It's the acceptance of the heart. It has to be accepted. That's faith. To walk the spiritual journey is faith. Absolutely, it is faith, because there's no way that you can understand it. There's no way that you can wrap yourself around the truth of love, that everything is just light and all the meaning that you've given to it is made up. That's a deep, deep acceptance, absolutely. But every master has walked that journey and has awoken to that truth in acceptance. This is what is meant by the eye of the needle. To awaken is by going through the eye of the needle, like a camel going through the eye of a needle. Not because God makes it so difficult you can't do it, but because the mind is so insane in what it's made and believes in, and it's made a whole thought system that is being called to be surrendered and to open the heart and to realize there is no problem. There is no problem. Let me recognize the problem so it can be solved. The problem is, in every single element that you think is a problem, it's that you think you're separate from God. That's it. Doesn't matter how it shows up. Doesn't if it shows up as a clogged drain, if it shows up as a cancer diagnosis, it doesn't matter how it shows up. Does not matter how it shows up. The source of the problem is that you believe you're separate from God. And you're not separate from God, so there is no problem. And that relinquishment of, that acceptance, there is no problem. I can't be upset because there's nothing here. That's what I'm surrendering. I'm surrendering the belief that I could even be upset, that there is any disturbance, and that there's anything to protect. If I'm not a body, what is there to protect? Every element of protection is about the body. Everything you try to protect is about the energy bodies that you live in. The emotional body, the physical body. That's all where the belief of protection comes into play. There's nothing to protect. I cannot die. I cannot die. I'm here to serve love. That's it. That's it. And an easy peasy life. In that relinquishment of the belief that there is a problem. To be free, to live in a body or to let the body go. It's the same life. It's the same love. It's the same eternal existence. Nothing missing. Nothing needed. That's where the peace is. Letting go of the burdens that have been manufactured from the agreement of separation. And coming back to peace and joy, resting in God. I don't have anything to do. I'm resting in God. There is no problem. Is it tempting to make up problems? Absolutely. Do they seem real when you're making them up? Yeah, because you're used to them. But you have a choice. Constantly have that choice, because your strength is in the realization that there is no problem. The belief of weakness is in the belief that there is a problem. Love is strength. God is strength. You are not weak, but strong in the truth of love. You are not helpless, but all-powerful in the truth of love. What the emotional body speaks to and what the physical body speaks to means nothing. The peace of your heart is the commander. Your choice for peace or conflict, peace or pain. And you have all of the guidance, you have all of love that is leading you constantly, sending you divine masters that are always ready to lead you, ready to open those doors and those windows and and hold you in the light of truth. No limitation. One heart, one breath, one life. This divine union cannot be altered. This divine love cannot be altered. Doesn't matter what you try to make out of it. You can suffer because you refuse to accept it, but it doesn't change it. It's always all that there is. Love. Surrendering all conflict.